What's up, YouTube? It's your boy John from the Jersey Shore, and I am back with you today to give you my review of the 1991 film, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Freddy's Dead was both written and directed by Rachel Talalay, starring Lisa Zane, Sean Greenblatt, and of course Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger.
Every town has an Elm Street.
Alright, so in this installment of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, Freddy returns again. This time he is basically trying to recruit a young woman that we have never seen before. She was never mentioned before, and as it turns out, she's his daughter. Alright, so in this movie, being as though this girl was never mentioned before, they have to backtrack a little bit and provide you with a little bit of backstory. It makes sense to do so. We see Robert Englund in the movie as himself without the Freddy makeup on, obviously portraying himself as what he was prior to being murdered. You see him out in the yard, he's beating his wife, his daughter sees it, she's not happy. This guy's beating up her mother, of course she's not happy. Scumbag. Another little tidbit of information we get with this backstory is we learn that Freddy Krueger's father is actually Alice Cooper. I mean, that's really not that surprising. Without makeup on, Alice Cooper looks more like Freddy Krueger than Robert Englund does. God, honey, what are you ducking for? In a nutshell, what this whole movie boils down to is we get introduced to this young girl. We find out that she's Freddy Krueger's daughter. He's trying to recruit her. She's trying to eliminate him because he's a scumbag, and they have a confrontation at the end. This movie, honestly, is basically about as bad of a movie as I've ever seen in my life. I know that the last few reviews that I've done for this franchise have not shined a good light on it, and I feel the exact same way about this movie. This movie is, in my opinion, basically the castration of a legendary horror movie slasher. This franchise, I think that it's just become a parody of itself. At no point in this movie is it scary. At no point in this movie is this character funny. This movie, it's almost heartbreaking to me that this movie is categorized as a horror movie. I mean, the very first time that you see Freddy Krueger, I believe it was the first time, but who the hell cares really? The first time that I remember seeing Freddy Krueger in this movie, he is riding a broom like the Wicked Witch of the West, saying, "I'll get you my kitties," or whatever in the world he says. I mean, that's the type of stuff that you deal with throughout the entirety of this movie.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too.
You see that garbage. You see Breckin Meyer, he's in this movie. You see him bouncing around like a pogo stick in this movie. You see Freddy Krueger playing video games in this movie, and they pan to the screen, and he's in the video game, and he's stomping on this Breckin Meyer, on his character. It's become absolutely absurd. Freddy shows up, says something stupid. Then a couple more things happen. The next time you see him, he says something stupid.
Screaming while the bus is in motion.
Roseanne Arnold and Tom Arnold, Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold, at the time they were Roseanne and Tom Arnold, those two are even in this stupid movie. They're terrible characters. Alice Cooper's in this movie, as I mentioned previously, terrible character. Everything about this movie is absolutely, positively dreadful. Not funny, not scary, it's a joke. This is not a horror movie, folks. I don't know why. It's just a shame that this movie was even made. It's terrible. It's called The Final Nightmare. Unfortunately, it was not. There's another movie that I got to review after this one. There's one scene in this movie, and this is the only scene that I'm really going to talk about. I'm just about done with this. There's one scene in this movie where it's very clear that they've run out of ideas. There's a kid who has hearing loss, and he's got a hearing aid on. So Freddy Krueger cuts off his ear. He's playing around with the ear. He's teasing the kid with the ear. Now the kid, he's deaf. So Freddy pulls a pin out of his finger. Quiet enough you can hear a pin drop. He drops the pin. It makes an incredibly loud sound, and then he drops a whole bunch of more pins, and it makes a whole bunch more incredibly loud sounds. It's absolutely absurd the amount of time that they put into and spent doing this scene. When he cuts his ear off, the effects are even terrible. It's not a flat surface where he would have no ear. You can clearly see that they just put something over this kid's ear, and instead of having a flat side of his head where there is no ear, there's a big lump there. I mean, everything about this movie just irritated me to no end. I thought that this movie was absolutely terrible. I don't know if it was as bad as the last movie, but it's pretty bad. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I would really have to sit down and put thought into that. But it's atrocious. There's nothing about this movie that's good. The only thing that's good about this movie is that it was called Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. And when this came out, it should have been The Final Nightmare. That's it. The Final Nightmare should have been after part 3. There shouldn't have been a 4, shouldn't have been a 5, shouldn't have been a 6, probably shouldn't have been a 7. This franchise has just gone off the edge of the cliff here. Freddy Krueger is now a clown. He does nothing scary whatsoever. He does nothing but give you one-liner garbage jokes. I never will refer to these movies as horror movies. This movie is trash. They have Freddy Krueger in video games. Come on, man. Look, I know I've been bashing the crap out of these movies, but I have no choice but to do so. I love this stuff. I love horror movies, and these things are not horror movies. If you want to watch a really, really good movie, don't watch this one. All right, folks, that is my review of Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. If you like this video, and I know a lot of you won't, please give me a thumbs up. If you really like this video and you've been enjoying my content, do me a huge personal favor. Click that subscribe button, and after you click that subscribe button, ring the notification bell. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, have a kick-ass day, and thank you for watching. Only one more of these horrible movies left.